When we preach, we're not preaching simply to educate or to inform. We're preaching for life change. And I find it helpful to think about different levels of application, if you like. So I don't want to simply preach a historical lecture. I want to preach with a force and with an invitation for today that this truth will make a difference. So how could it make a difference? At one level, there's just the very practical, the conduct kind of issues. And people love that. Everybody just gets excited when they can write a to-do list. And there's nothing wrong with that. If the passage is presenting some implication of our salvation, great, give the conduct. But that's not the only type of preaching that brings a change. There's also, I suppose, a level below that, the belief. And sometimes a passage doesn't tell us what to do, it tells us what to believe. And if people can go away from that message more convinced, more certain about something to do with God, Christ, whatever it is, if their belief is corrected, that will then bear fruit in their conduct, even if I haven't spelled it out. But then there's something even below that. And in English, it's helpful because it's an ABC. And so the conduct is, there's the belief underneath, and right at the core is the affections. And I like to look at a passage and think about a preaching situation and think, not just how is this going to change how people think and how people act, but how is this going to move their hearts? How are they going to go away from this message more motivated, more stirred with love for Christ, with faith in God, with a sense of delight in Him? How am I going to preach in such a way that they might be stirred at the deepest level? Because that's where the real change ultimately comes from. Now, in an ideal world, a message will have affections, belief, conduct, all of that. Sometimes it will only hit a certain level, but ultimately that's what I'm looking for, is not just some instruction that can be obeyed, and not even just some facts or theology that can be believed, but really some heart change. And that comes from encountering Christ, from seeing Him as He is presented, or as God is presented from the text. When we see Him, our hearts are changed, and then our lives are changed. That's the response we should be looking for.